Hi everyone. We're going to start in just a couple minutes. I wanted to show you what I look like. I have no makeup on or anything, so this is Tracy without all this stuff. I'm doing this so you can compare the difference of when I started and when we finish. I'm going to just turn this light off, guys. This is really working. It's actually making me younger. And I'm not kidding. It'll do the same for you. Now, recent discoveries, and it's changed pretty much everything we've thought. We're going to talk about your heart today. Because your heart has approximately 40,000 specialized cells that are like brain cells, but they're not in your brain, they're in your heart. I think they're called sensory neurons. So they are basically like brain cells, and they are concentrated in such a degree that they can actually call this the little brain in the heart. So what does that mean? This isn't a metaphor either. It's not just happy thoughts here. Many people think that's what it is, that it's an analogy, but I'm saying no. This is literal. These neurites in the heart, the little brain in the heart, that we can learn, they can learn independently from our brain. They can think independently from the neurons in our brains. They can remember independently than the neurons in our brain. They can communicate with us separately from those neurons in our brain in a language that, unfortunately, we may or may not recognize because we've been conditioned to see the world through our brain. And if we're lucky, at some point in our adult lives, we get to connect with our hearts so that we can have access to these sensory stimulations. We can work with the brain independently, of course, of our heart. And I think most of us know how to do that very, very well. But we can work with the heart too, independently of the brain scientists, independently of what they say. Sorry guys, I got my hair all over my face. Doesn't matter. They think everything's about the brain. They forget about the heart. Many that I've been around, a lot of my friends anyway, say it's all about the heart. And they forget about the brain. They actually chastise the brain. You know, the left brain, that this is bad, this is a bad thing. But these ideas of what is good and what is bad needs to be thrown right out the window. Like, do it right now. I'm serious. Here's what the science is showing us now. Both of those ways of viewing ourselves are incomplete. When we marry the heart and the brain together, as we should, we can then harmonize the heart and the brain. This becomes an extended neural network that makes us different than all forms of life that we know of course. This is where our deepest empathy, our compassion, our intuition comes from. So people say, why would you want to do something like this? What's the purpose of harmonizing your heart in your brain? But there's something very, very special about this connection. Because when we are able to harmonize the little brain in the heart with the big brain in our heads, we bring a brain harmony with so many benefits, and they're different from one another. But, for example, we process information quicker. I mean, really fast information. Our recall is better. And that's something that makes sense here. There's a reason why we access information from our heart with our intuition. When we don't go through the logic and the fear and all the self-esteem and all the doubt that we have in our brains with our ego, of course, and our mental functions, our heart doesn't work that way. You know, affirmations are very powerful tools. I use those myself. I make little heart movies and mind movies for myself that has affirmations that are like very powerful tools. They can change our lives anytime, but they are more potent if we are communicating with our subconscious in a language that the subconscious recognizes through channels that the subconscious recognizes. So when we harmonize our heart in our brain, what we're actually doing is opening up a gate, a hotline, if you like, that the subconscious is now introduced to our affirmations of perfect relationships or of healing, if you want to do that, where healing begins in our body. Extraordinary states of intuition, deep intuition, are available with this harmonization in the heart. There are 3 keys, basically, for harmonizing our heart in the brain. The first one sounds kind of obvious, but, give me a minute here. So it's basically, I'm inviting you, and you'll invite yourself another time if you do this on your own. You shift your awareness from your thinking mind into your heart. Literally feel like a stepping down, because I guess that's how it actually works. You step down, so you're going down the ladder from your brain into your heart. So we're so conditioned, again, to being in our mind that sometimes when we're asked to do that, we think we're in the heart, but actually, if we're thinking, that's your brain doing it. And that's why so many love and lighters out there have a tendency to not really be all that heart-based because they're talking about it. They're not feeling it. And it's the feeling that matters. So, what I've heard from people, and they pretty much say the same. Doesn't matter what tradition you're looking at, if it's yogis and monks or abbots in monasteries, they all basically do the same. So, I invite you to gently touch your heart center in a way that's comfortable for you. You can do a simple one finger if you want to sternum wise. I like to embrace my hands together, but whatever feels good for you. If you're going to use an open palm, you can do a prayer mudra. And it's basically nestled right there in the hollow of your chest, so that there's pressure and there's comfortable. But this is important because your awareness always flows to the place in your body that you feel touch, where you feel sensation, in whatever way is comfortable for you to touch your heart center. Now, draw your awareness to that area. And as you do that, you have shifted from your mind and your heart. So I'm doing the same thing right now. And we'll do the meditation next, of course, but just sit here like this in your heart. Feel yourself moving to that area. Now, step number 2. I invite you to slow your breathing. Just a little. Maybe 4 or 5 seconds on inhale, whatever's comfortable for you. So breathe in, and then breathe out 4 or 5 seconds. Do it about the same on the out. Whatever's comfortable again. Here's why this is important. This sends a very, very powerful signal to your body. The first signal, shifting from your mind. Your heart says that I'm turning my attention inward. That's a powerful second signal. Right now. Next, you're slowing breathing. The only time when you breathe this way is when you are in a safe place. So you're telling your body right at that moment that I'm in a place that's safe. And that frees your body to let go of stress, of any stress hormones and feelings of stress. And when that happens, it awakens a healing chemistry because your body can only do one or the other. So now we're letting go of these stress hormones. We're now giving our body permission to awaken the healing chemistry and our body's powerful immune response, anti-aging hormones, all of those, and many more. So breathing a little slower from the place where you feel that touch, telling our body it's safe. Now, in this moment, if you can truly rest and relax, something magical starts to happen. There's a possibility in this. And this is why I'm focusing all my effort on this. And why I'm sure that when I truly have given enough of myself to this, that I will get up and walk. What this does, when you start getting sick or age, and I've been able to see that that can happen very, very quickly, not like we've been told, but in a year you can gain 10 years. You can lose it fairly quick too. I'm seeing that now. I'm looking in the mirror, and every time I look a little better, getting a little bit more color. But what happened to me? Most of you know, or, well, I'm sure there's new people listening. Thank you for coming and checking me out. I was in the hospital last year with the worst relapse I've ever had with multiple sclerosis. What did I do to get me there? Because I've changed my mind about that too. I was completely in my head. My head was in charge of everything. And it was not in the state of where I was breathing slowly. What it was doing was getting tighter and tighter. I became like one of those sketches in, have you seen The Dark Crystal? I became cold and hard. It was not the same. It was not expansive. I could not stretch. I could barely lift my arms. I couldn't do this, what I'm doing right now, opening my arms. I couldn't. So what I'm doing now, almost all day long, is stretching. It changes everything. But I found out just today, listening some Greg Braden and a bunch of different people that are looking into the science of how we actually work, and it's pretty darn interesting. So when we're getting sick like that, our DNA actually tightens up, curls up tighter, tighter, tighter. The same as actually what was happening to my body. And then what it starts manifesting in very physical, real ways that you can see it, is you start becoming the potential of your DNA. You know, when you get those 21andMe things and it tells you all the horrible things that can happen to your body, well, that's the epigenetic changes that you've just made in your body when you tighten up. Now, when we breathe slowly, when we are actually focusing on our heart, and the next couple things I'm going to tell you to do, literally, if you get to the point where you're actually changing your thoughts, changing your mind, changing your emotions so that you feel the emotion in your body, your DNA literally starts to unravel. This unraveling is close to what it does when it's about to divide. It starts making new cells. It starts repairing you in a way that nothing else that we found can do it. So very, very powerful. Now, this is going to bring us to our third step. And it's also very powerful, very potent. So I invite you now to create a feeling in your heart where you feel the touch again, where you're breathing in and out to the best of your ability. Feel one or some combination of the following. Feelings of care for anything or anyone. Appreciation for anything or anyone. Gratitude or compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. This is what researchers have found is what triggers. Those 4 words trigger an experience between our heart and our brain, and that creates coherence. And it's actually 0.1 hertz, believe it or not, to the best of your ability. Feel those feelings as you breathe. From your heart center. Now again, take your hands, hold it to your heart. Breathe in slowly for 5 or 4. Breathe out slowly for 5 or 4. Breathing from your heart. I'll give you a moment to do that, and I'm doing that now. Now take one more deep breath, please. And as you release that breath, what I want you to know is this act is a very ancient primal act. It is the key to the deepest truth of who you are truly as an individual in this world, in this universe. This is where super learning comes from. When you're working to solve or create something new, a new painting, a piece of music, write a book, create poetry, something new, it comes from this deep space. This is actually, if you do it right and you wait and your body's very still, you can get a gamma reading. Gamma is very magical. We'll talk about it in depth one day if you like. That's when you're connecting to the universe. It is a process that gives you resilience to a changing world. It allows you to embrace change, because the more you get tightened, you don't want any change. You want everything the same because you're afraid and you're running. So if you're not into any of those things, to trigger over 13,000, I think, biochemical reactions from the anti-aging hormones that we don't really address right now, but we need to. Everything from our immune response to cardiovascular health, all of these things from this very primal, ancient, simple way. So, again, I invite you now to take one more deep breath, and I'm doing the same. Release gently. So you're shifting your awareness from the act of harmonizing your heart in your brain. But I want you to know that a cascade of biochemical connections have been initiated. It doesn't end when you open your eyes. It doesn't end when you take that deep breath. They continue. And from what laboratory studies have shown, this is what they do for the next 6 hours. The immune response in your mouth, the saliva, your immune response throughout your body. The most powerful first line defense in your immune system is now kicking into overdrive from doing this right now, and it lasts over 6 hours. And all you have to do is have a feeling. Find a feeling, a good one, someone you really love. Hold them if you like. Appreciate them, love them. Know what that feeling is. Bring that feeling in. Hold it here. Breathe in. Breathe out. All you did was have a feeling, and to breathe in the most natural way. It's so simple. But we live in a world that is simple until we make it complex. Nature is simple. Simple until we use very, very big words and a lot of equations to describe that world or that word. But it all comes down to you and me and the earth and our special relationship to that which is inside us all the time. So, if you had a chance today to do the little exercises I showed you, well, if you don't, that's fine too. We'll do it tomorrow morning. If you're brave enough, be up with me at 4, because we're using this time 10-4 specifically, so we can open the gates, that we can talk to your subconscious mind without it freaking out or blaming you. It is quiet. And right now, and you can listen to this before bed too, what we are doing is preparing you to go to the sacred sleep, where you can take this emotion, this feeling of love and appreciation, and you can look at what you did today, and you can decide what you can do tomorrow to make the day better. You can look at the things that you did right and the things that you might have been a little bit disappointed of, and just see them, because we are no longer at a place that we need to ignore what we want. And this too is very important. I said yesterday that I am not calling this a healing. I don't want to say heal. don't want to ask for healing. I don't want to, whatever people want. They want something. They want a boyfriend, or they want a girlfriend. They want a mate. They want money. Here's what's important. Look at that thing that you want. Look at it closely. Bring it close. We must be aware of ourselves. And we must not lie to ourselves anymore. What you will most likely find is that thing you think you want. And if it's a boyfriend or a girlfriend, just try to make sure you're not taking a prisoner, guys. But I think you'll find for the most part what you really want is an emotion. And you're feeling a loss of a certain emotion. You don't have that here. Whatever that is, look at it. Be honest with yourself. There's nothing wrong with you for wanting things or not wanting things. But here's what we can do, and it's really easy. What we need to do first is to be aware of our breath. That changes everything. And again, tells our body that we are safe. So, if you will sit up, put your hands on your knees, close your eyes, and breathe in slowly to the count of 5. And as you're breathing in, just think to yourself, I'm aware that I am breathing in. Now breathe it out. And as you're breathing out, be aware that you are breathing out. That is very important. Most people are not aware of their breathing. And paying attention, really looking at something, is the biggest part of any of these magic tricks. So, breathe in, know that you are breathing in. Breathe out, be aware that you are breathing out. As we breathe in, think of a flower opening or a bud coming up from the ground. Breathe in, think flower. Breathe out, think fresh. Flower. Fresh. This can be done anytime during the day, anytime at night. And this has rejuvenation qualities, so it's also very powerful. Flower. Fresh. The next exercise. Think of mountain. Solid. If you can imagine yourself sitting by a mountain, or imagine yourself as a mountain. Solid, firm, grounded, stable. Mountain. Solid. One more time. Mountain. Solid. Next. Be the still water in a pond. Maybe by a mountain, if you like, so that the mountain shows, reflects in the pond. You can be the pond. So do this. Water, reflecting. What we are doing with the water is water reflects the truth. You are now embracing your own truth and being truthful enough to show it. We want to be still as possible and reflective, because what if the beautiful moon would like to see herself in you? So you become the mirror, not the reflection. Water, reflective. Next, space. Breathe in. Be the sky. Wide, open space. Feel the sky inside you and around you, and further away. Take this beautiful feeling, move it around your body, let it wrap around you. Now expand it out past the chair, touching all the walls of the room, all the walls of your home, the entire building, your street, your city, your province or state. Got Americans here, hey you guys. Push this out. Wrap it around any family, your friends that you love. Give them this space. Share this space with gratitude, with love. Press this space even further through the country, through the continent, through the hemisphere, across the planet. Push it out so that you can look down at the planet. Dive in, fall to the center of the planet. Breathe in, move your breath to the top of your head, and breathe out. Push that air out the top of your head, send it to the center of the galaxy. Breathe in there. As you breathe out, bring the air back through your body, through the planet, and out again. Thank you very much. And if you're into it, I'm going to do this tomorrow morning, 4:30, when your body hasn't switched yet from melatonin to serotonin. But know that you have opened a gateway right now, and you can use this gateway to plan your day tomorrow or to live your future now. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.